Hello. Oh,
Marco.
Follow.
Marco.
Brad, I think I'm stuck. Oh gosh.
Tyler, man, come on. What are you doing? We're supposed to have this ready to go.
I got stuck. Hold on. That is gonna hurt. That's gonna pull all my hair off. Hold on. I need to bend down a little bit.
All right.
Ow.
Tyler, what did you do to this?
I thought I was in Palmyra.
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy.
Those Palmyra people, they're kind of different. I mean, you have to watch out for them.
That hurt. Well, okay.
Hey, there we go.
This is what we needed.
Here we go.
I feel
Welcome LBC Youth 2.
Wait, should we be like dun, 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 dun,
I have no idea what you're doing.
Okay.
All right,
I'm gonna
let's
set
put
it back here.
All right.
Oh, there
Hey,
we go.
LBC Youth, welcome to YouTube Live. Welcome to our new series called Quarantine Cup.
The Quarantine Cup.
Yes. What is that?
That's what
Tyler?
that thing is.
That's what that thing is on your head. But now we'll have to wash it.
Yeah, we don't want to hand that away with all those germs on there. But yes, Quarantine Cup. So we're excited. This month of June, we are doing a friendly competition where we are going to compete together. Well, not together.
Yes.
But kind of together.
Sort of.
But separately.
Depends.
Against each other.
Yeah.
As friends.
Yep.
For the Quarantine Cup.
For the Quarantine Cup. Challenges to beat the 11th grade girls or the 11th grade guys. Both of them think they're going to win this thing. And we need you, if you're in another small group, to really rally together.
Yes. I'm really excited because the 6th grade guys groups were already throwing some shade.
Really?
So next week, you're going to want to tune in because they may have some things that we might show that might throw shade.
Oh, well, there we go.
People.
All right. Well,
like
let's get right to it and explain the Quarantine Cup because some of you are going like, what is this? I don't know what you're talking about. So, Tyler, let's explain what is the Quarantine Cup.
So the Quarantine Cup. So you're going to see across your screen are going to be all the rules, the objectives, everything that you need to know what the Quarantine Cup is. But basically, what we're doing is this Quarantine Cup is going to help us take the next right step in the midst of the unknown. That is our slogan. That's our hashtag. Everything.
There we go.
Hashtag.
It's our
That's
everything.
A long hashtag.
It's our everything. Yeah,
wow.
This is pretty.
That's a lot.
This makes me excited.
Yes. So the first thing, objective, a fun and exciting way to connect, compete, and care for one another during the month of June. So that's what we're doing. Brad, what's the reward?
The reward, the winning. So you get points every week, depending on what your small group does together and individually. And at the end, the small group with the most points gets all of the glory of the Quarantine Cup. Plus, their small group gets an all-expense paid trip to Top Golf Omaha or Amazing Pizza Machine. You get to choose.
All-inclusive.
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 All expenses paid for.
I don't know if you've ever been to an all-inclusive resort. Well, Tyler has. And
this is LBC Youth all-inclusive.
This is LBC Youth style of all-inclusive. It may not be like the Palmyra Library all-inclusive, but it will be pretty amazing. I guarantee.
Yeah, it'll be way better than that place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So that's the reward. What that looks like, there's going to be weekly challenges. Next slide. There, perfect.
Right.
And if you guys want to, you can be taking pictures of this on your screen, or you can go back and watch
Your
YouTube.
small group leader has this information they'll also be talking to you about.
Yes. So weekly challenges. There will be 4 weekly challenges that offer different amounts of points. So that can range from 25 points, 50 points, 75 points, and 100 points. So generally, there will be 2 group focus challenges and 2 individual challenges. So 2 challenges that you have to kind of compete as a group for, and that's like a percentage base. Like if, say, 60% of your team or your group does something, you'll get the points. Where the individual ones are more like if you as a person, if there's 2 people in your group that do X, then you will get the points. So that's kind of how that'll work. And they're going to range in difficulty. So 25 is going to be kind of easy. Clear up to 100, you're going to have to really jump in and take some big steps.
Yeah, 100 points are not easy. The 100-point ones we are not making easy. So you're going to have to really try for those.
Yes, absolutely. All right. How does scoring work?
Each challenge completed by the group will award them point increments, as Tyler was explaining, at different levels. And it's important that points are awarded per challenge and not per individual. So you can't get the max amount of points you can get as a group is 25 plus 50 plus 75 plus 100. So it's 250 total points per week is the max, except there is an exception for where individual points do count. And that is you get 5 points for each person in your group that comes through the Monday drive-through.
Boom.
But how do they get credit for that? Can I just say, hey, yeah, I went to Monday drive-through?
You cannot just say that. Well, you could. but you wouldn't get any points. So
Yes.
we are going to have one person assigned. So far, that person for next week is going to be Jensen. So Jensen's going to be stationed at the table. For those of you that have come to the draft, you kind of know how we're set up. Jensen will be in the middle, and you are going to have to shout out, "Hey, Jensen, I'm with this group." So say I was, let's see, a 6th grade boy.
Yep.
And I roll up and I say, "I would love a Snickers bar today." And I'm in Mikey Lieberman's group. And so, Mikey, your group would get 5 points.
Right. So it only counts if you say what group you're in at the candy drive-thru to Jensen, then you get your 5 points per group. So
you have to take the initiative. We're not going to.
We're not going to ask. I mean, this is how you earn points here. So your small group leader will be in charge of giving us those challenges. If you've completed those, they'll be in charge of communicating to us. So students, you don't have to worry about that. Push your small group leader to make sure they're getting that to us. They have to have that to us by Wednesday noon, so that every Wednesday night we will update you on where the top 3 or 4 groups are. So we won't update everybody. We'll just say, hey, here's the top 3 or 4 groups, and so you can be competing.
Yeah, speaking of your small group leader, give them some love. Like, support them, encourage them. They are excited about this. But yeah, maybe just send, hey, text them. Text them daily.
Yeah, bug them. Oh, one more point on this. So you're going like, hey, my small group leader, it needs to do something this summer, so they're not connected right now. Here's what I got to tell you. If middle school, we think you're covered. We think Tyler's done a great job of connecting you all, but I think there's some high school groups that might not have a small group leader. So right afterwards, you're going to get a Zoom link through Remind. I will be leading your small group. So whoever doesn't have their small group leader is going to be in my small group. So there's a good chance whoever is in my group is going to win, because we know how to get the extra points. So make sure you're going to count. But you do have to sign in and be a part of my Zoom group. You don't get to just say, well, I'm my small group leader, and then you don't get to go and enjoy the reward.
That would be the worst.
Yeah.
That'd be the pits. But also, we are rewarding points, as you'll see later on, sometimes on YouTube Live.
Yeah, we can just be awarding random points.
Extra points. Yeah. We can award points as we see fit.
One more quick question.
Yes.
How many times do you use the word, have you used the phrase, that would be the pits?
That'd be the pits. You've never used that? Have you ever heard about the excuses? Like, you have 2 of them and they both stink. Excuses are like armpits. You have 2 of them and they both stink.
Wow.
You never heard that?
Yeah, just keep going, man. I'm learning so much today. Hey, this is what it's about here at YouTube Live. We love to teach you new things.
Wait, also, is anyone shocked about Brad's haircut? I walked in and I felt like a baby, when they do those challenges.
Feels so weird.
I started crying.
3 months without a haircut. Weird. Today I broke. I just said I needed to get a haircut. So
you look so good.
It feels like I'm 10 pounds lighter and feeling good. Yeah.
Well, you look good.
Well, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
I'm getting my haircut tomorrow and a beard trim. I cannot wait. I sweat all the time now. It's rough.
Yeah, as you can tell, he has to wear a bro tank here at the office because of his hair.
Well, that's just sun's out, guns out, and I got to get rid of my farmer's tan. I need to get a farmer's burn.
Fair enough. You're tired of hearing us talk, so we need to get into the first competition of the night, and this tonight is the only one that will get DoorDash.
Yes.
So you got to be ready for this. Speaking of Monday drive-thrus, what is the theme that we're working on in Monday drive-thrus?
So the theme of the month of June for all of our drive-thrus, we're doing the decades in June, which is really fun. So this last Monday was 60s. So next week is going to be 70s. The week after that's going to be the 80s. The week after that's going to be the 90s. And the week after that is going to be the 2000s.
Nice.
So pretty fun. So we want you to come dressed up. Just decorate your car. Make it look like a disco ball this next week. That'd be pretty cool. 70s and disco.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's what it's going to be like.
And Tyler, Janice, Jensen, and I have permission to award extra points through a Monday drive-thru for your team with anything that we feel is over the top awesome. So
over the top.
You might want to dress up, decorate.
Yes.
All right. So
that leads us into our next game. So like Brad said, Sonic, DoorDash. This is the only chance to get DoorDash tonight on tonight's YouTube Live.
For everyone.
Slushies for everyone. But we need you to there's 5 things, and we're going on the lines of decades. So I get to be the judge, and I get to choose if it meets the criteria. So you don't have to just be first, but you actually have to have something from the 60s. So 1 item from the 60s, 1 item from the 70s, 1 item from the 80s, 1 from the 90s, and 1 from the 2000s. That is what you need. 5 objects, and I get to be the judge of who actually hit it. And my number is 402-202-1260.
Nice. Do you actually understand what the 80s look like?
Yeah.
What would you describe? What would be something you would describe in the 80s?
All I can think of is like AC/DC. Is
AC/DC.
all I can think of.
Yeah.
And
How about the 90s?
the 90s, all I can think about. I just thinking like
A little
music.
Metallica or something?
Metallica, like
Nirvana, maybe?
Backstreet, Britney Spears. It was more 2000s. But yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about?
What do I think about?
Okay, which decade? Which decade were you born in?
Guess. You
Oh,
said
we
the
went over
60s.
this.
You said
We
the
went over this.
60s
The
last
70s.
time.
You were born in 72.
I was born in the 70s.
72?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
So what was it like?
What was it like? A lot of
remember?
Saturday morning cartoons. Like that was a good time.
What were the cartoons?
Superheroes.
Ooh.
A lot of
Ren and Stimpy? No,
that
that's
would
like
be
my childhood.
that'd be a little bit later. I can just see my mom right now.
What
and
are
just seeing
80s?
her response.
I haven't got
to
a text
Ren-
message yet.
Well, that's because they're still figuring out what are the 60s and 70s.
It would be kind of funny if I saw some of your parents in these photos.
They
if
could
they
have
were
been born in
one of
those
these
decades. So that
And if
could
you have grandma, man, you could have kind of a whole little family structure there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So what?
So
what
when
would
were
be-
you born? The 90s?
When do you think I was born? Since you did that to me.
I would say you were 92.
Wow. Thanks for making me. You're younger. I'm 91.
91.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know I don't look as old.
Guess
but
what happened in 1991?
I was born.
You were born and I graduated high school.
Woo!
Wow. That is amazing. That is so
that's-
weird.
I think you're the age of my parents.
Yeah, probably.
You could be my dad.
Yeah.
That's real awkward to think about.
This is awesome. Somebody
like it.
please get a picture in. Okay, come on.
I still have.
Come on.
Now they're coming in.
Oh,
Hold
here
on,
we go.
Here we go. Oh boy.
All right. As Tyler is getting ready to award, I'm going to hand off my chair to the Queen of Palmyra Municipal Library. She's going to come up here and she's going to introduce our next section. You're going to love this, and it's going to be incredible.
It'll be incredible. And you know what? I'm going to give this to them, I think. You should text me and explain everything and what it means. But I'm going to award this to Catrice and Addison Olds. So you guys killed it. You got all the things that I asked for. There's 5 objects. Now I want you to text me back and describe them. Oh, man. Also, you know what's funny, Brad? I think my dad texted me a picture of decades. Love you, Dad. You were born in the 60s.
I love that your parents are avid followers of this.
They're avid followers. Okay. So
Hi,
Catrice and
Tyler.
Addison Olds, send me your address and what those objects, how they came in the decades. Hey.
What's
hello.
up?
Wow. Hey, cool shirt.
I know. It's like we planned it, but
I know.
we didn't.
Mine just doesn't have sleeves because I ripped them off.
Oh.
Yep. Okay. How are you? So what are we doing?
We're going to do cup facts.
Cup facts?
Yeah.
Wait, like quarantine cup facts?
Well, other cup facts to get us prepped for the quarantine cup.
Did you think of all of these?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope here goes nothing. All right,
they're
so
right.
we're doing cup facts. So how this is going to work is you're going to comment on the YouTube channel, but what we need from you is the answer. The answer is first. So that's very important because there's lots of comments that come in. So we need to make sure the answer is right. But then we want you to put answer, comma,
Comma, very important.
right? Comma, that's right. Okay. Comma, and then your small group leader's name. Because we have 7 questions, and there is an opportunity to get 10 points per question for your team for the Quarantine Cup.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty
if you
cool.
don't know your small group, put Brad.
Don't put Brad if you don't know your small group. Well, actually, yeah, put Brad. We'll give you guys a handicap. We'll give them a handicap. They need it. Okay. So the first question. Okay, you got answer, comma, small group leader's name. Okay.
Get
Okay,
ready.
First
Get ready.
question. 2 years ago, LBC Youth Middle School hosted a famous cup challenge. What was that famous cup called? It actually was kind of similar to this cup.
Really?
Yeah,
But not that cup.
but not that one.
Got it.
Because we put epoxy in the cup that we had for Kool-Aid Cup, and we actually drank Kool-Aid out of it.
You just gave the answer away.
That's awkward. If you were listening, I just gave you a freebie. That's how we start off. We want to be easy. We want to set the bar low for these next ones that someone typed up that are really good. Did someone get it? Okay,
Before
cool.
he spoiled
Perfect.
it.
Cool. So what's the next one, Jensen?
Okay.
Don't say what's the yellow. Don't say whatever is highlighted in the yellow.
Okay. So this one, the history of this next one is pretty awesome. The blank cup
Ooh.
used to grow as silver bands were added to accommodate the names of winners. after the 5 bands were full, the oldest band was removed and placed in a sports-specific Hall of Fame, so
Gotcha.
a new band could be added without adding height to the already sizable prize.
It's a big trophy.
How big?
But wait, why did you do air quotes?
That's what my paper says.
Oh.
Yeah, give you a hint of maybe, because I can't give you the actual sport because it really give it away.
It would give it away.
So,
Oh, that's why you did air quotes.
Yeah.
Of like, it's not so I can't go to a specific sports Hall of Fame.
well, you can.
I Google that specific sports Hall of Fame. You got it? Okay, perfect. Cool. They got that
Great,
one.
keep going.
Perfect. Next one. They started out making paper cone cups. When was the Solo Company founded? The Solo Cup Company. When was it founded? They were making paper cone cups.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy. And I'll give you a hint. It's old. It's an
Yeah,
old company.
like
Yeah.
really old, older than us.
Way older by lots of years.
Yeah.
I could give them an exact number, but they know that I was born in 1991. They could subtract that and get the right answer.
That's true. That's too easy.
I've already given away one answer.
Yeah, that's
I'm not
good.
going to do it.
Okay,
Gosh.
go to number 4. It's kind of similar.
Okay. And while you're thinking about that, what year was the Red Solo Cup patented? How do you say that?
Patent.
Patent? Like general patent?
No, patent.
Patent.
Yeah.
Patented. Patented?
No, just patent.
Patent.
Yeah.
So like if it's in the process of getting patented, is it in patent?
It's in the process of getting a patent.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying
We
it
have
too many
that one
times.
yet?
It sounds weird.
I don't want to confuse them before going on to the next one.
Yeah.
We have it? Perfect.
Cool.
Okay. Jensen.
All right. Speaking of famous cups, what
Hmm.
year did the U.S. last host the World Cup?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Thanks.
Did you know, okay, so as they're looking this up, when was the last year that the U.S. won the World Cup?
Well, you know what, Tyler?
What?
It's a trick question.
Why?
The answer is never.
You're right. The U.S. has never won the World Cup. We're so bad at soccer. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
I really like the World
Yeah.
Cup.
Yeah. Got it?
Not women.
Oh, true. Men's World Cup, we're pretty bad. You got it?
Yep.
Perfect.
Cool.
Okay. Jensen,
Yes. This is my favorite one
why?
because, as you may have noticed, Tyler and Brad have been making fun of me as a librarian.
You should go visit her at the Palmyra
Nonchalantly.
Library, but not right now.
Not right
'cause
now.
it's
We're not open.
Not open.
Anyway, so we're going into books or movies if you don't read the books. What cup did Harry Potter win in the book, The Goblet of Fire?
Wait, you gave it away. You just said the Goblet of Fire.
That's not the answer. We already went over this.
No, it's the Goblet of Fire.
No, that's not the answer.
Oh, okay.
We had
Just
to.
trying to trick them.
Yeah.
I'm tricking them. Go with it.
Okay.
Well, you spoiled it already. So
Well, you
awesome.
spoiled the first one.
Did we have anyone on that one yet? Oh,
Okay,
perfect.
cool.
Okay.
Okay, last
so
one.
last one. And this one's really good. This one's really good. So I want you need to answer this one for all the glory. Who won the Dubai World Cup in 2019? Who won the Dubai World Cup in 2019? And until they get an answer for that, Jensen, what was the answer to one? Now we can go back and read the yellow.
The first answer was the Kool-Aid Cup.
The Kool-Aid Cup.
If you didn't pick it up from Tyler.
Gave it away. Oh my God.
Whatever.
The next one, the Stanley Cup. The Stanley Cup, and it's Hockey Hall of Fame. We knew we'd give that away.
The third one, the answer was 1936,
1936.
for when the company was founded.
Solo is old. And then in 1976 is when the Red Solo Cup was actually patented.
Patented.
Gosh, I can't say it.
Patent. And
Last time
then,
the U.S. hosted the World Cup?
yes, 1994.
1994. And I'm just going to ask you this. So it wasn't the Goblet of Fire. So what cup did Harry win?
The Tri-Wizard Cup.
The Tri-Wizard
It's
Cup.
all about the Tri-Wizard tournament.
That's
I
pretty
can't give
awesome.
anything else away. It could spoil the whole thing for you.
Yes. Do we have an answer to the last one? Perfect. So the answer to the last one is my favorite answer. Thunder Snow. Thunder Snow, which is a famous horse. So it's a horse race in Dubai. That happens, I guess, yearly, I think.
There you go.
I'm still researching.
Sweet.
Okay. Well, sweet. Brad, do you want to come on up here and save us from
We need it.
patented?
Patented.
We need help.
Well, guys, Thanks for joining in. We're going to highlight a different city in Nebraska every Wednesday night from now on. And Palmyra won tonight. If you haven't noticed, we're seeing how many times we could mention the city Palmyra. So if you want to give some feedback and would like to recommend a city for us to mention, we will go research it and mention it many times on YouTube Live. Also, quick side note before I jump into the message tonight, we are looking for some students who would like to come in and be a part of our Wednesday Night Live team. So what we need you to do is first talk to your parents to make sure they would be okay with you coming in and being a part of our team. But we're looking for 2 students each week. If your parents say yes, drop us a note, send us a text, tell us why we should pick you to be a part of our YouTube Live Wednesday team. Because we need to add more energy. I mean, as you can tell, we're kind of losing it here, and our creativity is going down, and we can't even say words anymore. So if you're from Palmyra, you may already have a leg up if anybody from Palmyra is watching. So Palmyra is, I think we've named it about 32 times now. So we're going for the record. But let me turn the corner here. If you've been around Lincoln, if you've been looking at the internet, in social media, you know and realize that we have a problem in our culture. Our culture's kind of broken. We have police abuse, we have racism, we have trouble understanding what submitting to authority means. We have people hurting people, we have lying, we have accusations, we have hatred just pouring out. There are serious issues that we are dealing with as a culture. There are things that are affecting who we are as a culture, and some of us have been deeply affected by those things. And some of us are going, like, yeah, but those are the only things that happen in big cities or maybe downtown Lincoln, but it doesn't really affect me. Well, I wanted to take a couple minutes tonight just to address some of these things that are going on in our culture. Because whether we realize it or not, they are affecting us. Whether you're directly affected, they are affecting how we see each other and how we treat each other. These are things that I encourage you, don't avoid. If you don't know much about them, don't create an opinion. But maybe just listen. Listen to somebody who's been affected by it. Maybe who's had a personal experience with some of this stuff that's going on. Be a listener during these times. Because I believe that if we're going to move forward, it's going to be about us coming together and us being great listeners before we can move into action. I know if you're like me, maybe you know a little bit about what's going on, but you really don't truly understand the feelings and the emotions and the experiences that many of our friends and our neighbors have experienced in their lives. See, sometimes I can get to the point where I just I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do, and I just get in this stuck place. And so either I just avoid and ignore that anything like this is happening at all, or I create an opinion. And usually when I create an opinion, it's based on a pretty selfish motive. It's based on what I think should be right, versus finding out what's really going on. Well, we're going to jump into this series, Quarantine Cup, taking the right next step in the midst of the unknown. We're doing this so that in our culture where we sit today, we could help you not stay stuck, maybe back off from some opinions that you have, and figure out what's my right next step. So let's put this in perspective a little bit, because we've all lived through it. 2020, this is going to be a year that your kids and your grandkids are going to have trivia contests on, and it's going to be great. In school, they're going to come to you, maybe 2030, maybe even the year 3000. They're going to come to you and they're going to go, hey, Grandma and Grandpa, did this really happen all in one year? Because it's incredible. 5 months in, and all these incredible things have happened. So we're just going to walk through some of these. So far, we've had Australian brush fires that have just burned up a huge part of the country, billions of dollars of damage. Kobe Bryant was killed in a helicopter crash. The coronavirus exploded across the world. The Olympics were postponed. You guys didn't have school the last quarter of the year in person. We had these things called murder hornets. George Floyd was murdered kind of on live TV. Protests and riots spread throughout the country where it is in complete chaos in a lot of major cities. And that is in 5 months. 2020 is one of those years where if you're trying to deal with it, you're pretty overwhelmed. And I think that's where we can get overwhelmed and we go like, this is insane. What do I do? What's the next step? I don't even know what the right next step is. I think I should do something, but I don't know what to do. Or man, I'm just going to avoid it because I could just stay in my house because we're in quarantine. So I'll just stay in my house in my corner and I'll just ignore that it's happening. Tonight, I would like to invite us as a ministry, maybe you as a person, to take a deep breath. Realize that we don't have the right answers. We don't know what to do next. I have no idea what the right next step is. But I do know that God will show us what the right next step is for each of us, and maybe for us as a group. So this series is going to be a series where we have a lot of fun. But in the midst of that, we can't ignore what's happening in the world around us. So tonight, as we start off this series, as we take in the right next step into this unknown world that we live in, I want to invite you to pray with me as we begin this series. Jesus, we do not know why the things of the last 5 months have happened. We don't know how they happened. Most of us don't even have a clue, like me, like what's it going to look like in a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. Jesus, I just pray that you will come and you will meet each of us so that we could relax, so that we could take a deep breath and we could learn to trust you. We could let our hearts break for the horrible stuff that has happened around us, for the people who are sick, for the people who have been hurt, abused, and where we could also experience your love and your truth about how you made us. And we ask that through this series, you will help us understand what is our next right step in this land of the unknown that we live in. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Change the topic a little bit here. I don't know what you do when you wake up in the middle of the night. Like if you have to go to the bathroom or something wakes you up or you want to go get a drink or something. But for me, I don't turn on the lights. I don't feel like I need to. I don't want to wake people up. I don't want to, wake the dog up and have the dog start barking. So I don't turn on the lights. And it's good because why would I need to turn on the lights? I could walk around my house. I could get to the bathroom. I could get to the faucet to get a drink of water. I don't need it. Until someone doesn't pick something up on the floor. I don't know if you've ever, I can remember many times in my life, but that when you're walking in the dark and you're like, I know that, it's no big deal. I don't have to turn on the lights. And you're walking, all of a sudden as your foot comes down, you have that split second where you go, oh no, before your nerve endings shoot pain to your mind, to your head going, you just stepped on something. And then you fall to the ground and try not to scream so you're not waking everybody up, and you're just in so much pain. I don't know what's the craziest thing or what's the most painful thing you've stepped on in the dark or bumped your knee into or stubbed your toe into. I think honestly, this company created these things specifically to be the worst possible object to have on the ground for someone to step on in the dark. And I bet if you have these in your house, you have done this before, and they are Legos. They may look good, they may look nice, but they are evil. If you want to mess somebody up, just spread Legos on their floor after they go to bed, and just videotape what happens next. Those things are the sharpest, hardest, just designed perfectly to just get into the bottom of your foot as you step on them and cause the most pain. I don't know what it is for you. I don't know what you've stepped onto. I know when I lived in Arizona, there was one thing that was worse than Legos. The only thing I've ever found worse to step on than Legos is scorpions. Scorpions would come out at night. And It was the only time where I started to turn on the lights, like literally get my phone out and turn the light on when I got out of bed, just to make sure I wasn't going to step on a scorpion. Those things hurt. And those things are a lot nastier than a Lego. But I don't know what it is for you. What have you stepped on in the dark? What have you stumbled into? Maybe you stumbled into a hole. Maybe you stumbled into something crazy. But I want you to be asking that in your small group time. What have you stumbled into? See, I think sometimes we don't, in the dark, if we're familiar with it, we don't worry about it. We don't worry about turning on the light because we're familiar with it. We know our house. We know where the bathroom is. We know where the faucet is. We know how to get around, where our bed is, where the dresser is. I think we're used to it. So we don't feel like we need to turn on the light. But I think that's also how we maybe look at our spiritual life sometimes. Like we get used to things and we're like, oh, I'm good with that. I don't need to worry about it. I've got it. I know where everything's at. I know I'm good. I'm good with Jesus. I've got this relationship going. Yeah, I know what to do if I get in trouble. I know what's right or wrong. And we just kind of get in this routine. And the Bible says that sometimes that routine could take us away from who we really are, really meant to be. It also says in the Bible that we should examine ourselves. Which means to me, it means that sometimes we need to turn the light on in our spiritual lives. So if we're going to know how to make the right next step into this land of the unknown, I think first we need to turn the lights on in our spiritual lives. We need, meaning not fire us up from the inside, but sometimes I think it's like turning the switch on around us spiritually. We need to examine where we're at. Because I think it is really important to know where we're at. And there's a couple verses I want to share with you. They're in Psalms, and this is just, there's a bunch of them. There's 265 instances of the word light in the Bible. And I encourage you to look some of those up if you want to see the power of light. Psalm 18:28 says, you light a lamp for me. The Lord my God lights up my darkness. Psalm 119:105 says, your word is a lamp to guide my feet and a light for my path. Do you see that? Like, the psalmist is saying, your word is a light, is a lamp. A lamp doesn't cast light like 100 miles down the road. It just casts light just around you. So it's a light to the path that's right in front of you. And sometimes I think that's important for us to remember. Like God may not show us what August will look like. He may not show us what January will look like. He may not show us what college will look like, but will show us, he promises to show us if we are close to him, what's going to be right in front of us. He could show us what tomorrow or the next day, like a lamp that shines out in front of us. Psalm 119:130 says this, the teaching of your word gives light. So even the simple can understand, because I think this is also important. Because some of you are going like, man, this is so complicated. I just don't understand anything. I'm still figuring out God, or man, I don't know what are you talking about, this whole flip the light on in my spiritual life. God's word is easily attainable even to simple things, even to people who don't have a lot of experience. I invite you to look at the spiritual condition of your life. I think one of the ways to turn the light on in your spiritual life is to evaluate where you're at. And it's just a great thing that Jesus asks us to do. And it's such a cool thing. And there's a picture that your small group leader has, and we're going to, I think, throw it up on the screen here. And again, there is no right or wrong answer here, but if you look at that picture, sometimes it's great to look at a picture like this that doesn't have any big spiritual connotation to it and go like, man, if my spiritual life, which one of these people would I be if I was turning the light on in my spiritual life, my relationship with Jesus right now, which one of these would I be? And then explain it. Like, again, there's no right or wrong. It isn't like the person at the bottom of the hill is worse than the person at the top of the mountain. You could explain where you feel you're at in your relationship with Jesus. It's a great way to evaluate where you're at, because I think if you don't evaluate, you're going to end up walking around in the dark, in the spiritual darkness, thinking you're okay, and then you're going to step on something, and it's going to hurt, and then you're going to end up waking up and going like, oh my gosh, why am I so far away? Why am I doing this? This is not who I want to be. I wanted to be over here next to Jesus, doing the things that Jesus wants me to do. I thought I knew what I was doing, but I had kind of drifted into the darkness. I hadn't let God light my path. As you think about taking the right next step in the midst of the unknown, I want to encourage you to turn the lights on with your relationship with Jesus. Because it's really easy to rationalize in the dark. Like, when you distance yourself from Jesus, you distance yourself from people, it's easy to rationalize that you're doing okay. But when you let Jesus speak to you, when you let people who follow Jesus talk to and into your life, they kind of help you understand that some things that you're rationalizing may not be true. So here's what I encourage you to do. As we're in this series, and this also really kind of quick random notes, some of you, happy spiritual birthday. A year ago, 2 years ago, we were at camp on this date. And I know a lot of you made the decisions to follow Jesus on this date or yesterday. And I just want to celebrate and congratulate you. Remember that it's not about you, it's about what Jesus did. Also, I want to celebrate, I know 2 students who've given their lives to Christ in the last 2 weeks. Like they did the big old flip the switch. At some point, they flipped the light on and said, man, where am I at with you, Jesus? And then they did something when they realized, hey, maybe I don't have a relationship. I've also been talking to some students who said, I have this relationship with Jesus, but man, I am kind of drifted. I've kind of just like, I can't do this anymore. And during the quarantine season, I'm just kind of like isolating. When we could get back together and we could worship together again, then I'm going to start growing. And some of them have like turned that light on, the spiritual light on, and realized, man, you know what? I'm just wasting time. I could still be doing what God wants me to do right now. So I encourage you to turn the light on, evaluate where you're at, and then do something about it. And then make a next step. And we're going to give you these challenges in small groups as an opportunity to make your next step, or to make a step that will help you understand what your right next step is in the midst of the unknown of this world right now. Guys, I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if we'll get back together again in July or August or September. I don't know if you're going to get to go to school. I hope so. I hope all that happens. But I do know that what we can do right now is turn the light on, let God show us where we're at with him, and then respond to wherever we find ourselves. Because I believe your generation, the generation 18 and below, your generation is in one of the most difficult generations that have lived, and has the ability to create the most change, the most shifting people to experience God's love generation that's probably ever existed. But it's going to take work. And the work is going to have to start first with ourselves. Let God's light come in, see where we're at, and then do something about it. Let me pray for us. Jesus, thank you so much for who you are. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for turning the lights on. Thank you for not being okay with us just wandering away. Also, God, we apologize for the times we've kind of turned the lights out. We've kind of like been okay walking in the darkness because we really don't want to know. Maybe we really don't want to deal with some of the realities that our life, that we're doing it, just living in our life. So Jesus, I pray that you'll show us as we turn the light switch on. God, show us where I'm at with you, and then show me what is my next step. And Jesus, I pray that in these groups tonight that we could start this journey as we have fun with this Quarantine Cup series. I pray that you will help us, give us tools in this journey as we decide and figure out what our right next step is in this midst of this uncertain world. Jesus, we love you. Praise you in your name. Amen.
Amen. I'm back.
All right, you're back.
I'm back.
Man, you're looking so good.
Thank you.
So good.
Wow. I have the winners.
You have the winners.
Yes.
All right.
So we're going to go through this real quick. The one who answered the first question right, Desco for Brett's group.
Desco.
Good job. Caleb White for Caleb's group. Good job.
Nice.
Catrice Olds for Heidi. Yep, already representing there. Nate Matz on behalf of Nate Matz. Chris Van Ginderen on behalf of Chris. Sam Babcock for Jim. Anna Wooten for Haley.
We had 7 different groups.
7 different groups.
Wow.
So that's pretty incredible.
All right. We told you about the challenges. We're going to list them here, and then you'll be talking about them in small groups. So here are the challenges this week. For 25 points for your group, have one Zoom meeting other than Wednesday to share prayer requests and pray for each other. So it doesn't have to be a long time, but you have to have a Zoom meeting one time this week, share prayer requests and pray for each other.
Yes.
50 points.
50 points. I don't have that sheet in front of me.
As a group, it could be one person, it could be 10 people. As a group, you must write 10 notes, encouragement cards for people in nursing homes, drop them off, have somebody drop those 10 with your group's name off at the youth complex, and you will get 50 points. So one person could write all 10, 10 people could write one, but we need them all 10 together by before next Wednesday at noon.
Boom.
75 points. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. This is where the challenge is, 75 points. 50% of your group. And now you go like, how many people are in my group?
5-0.
Your leader gets to decide how many number is a complete group for your group.
Realistic number.
Right. If you have 6 people tonight, you cannot say 4. Yeah, you cannot say my group is 2. 50% of your group, 3 times this week, this is a challenge, 3 times this week, must do a 20-minute quiet time with journaling. And the proof is you have to show your small group leader over Zoom, like, hey, you don't have to show them exactly what you wrote, but you have to say, hey, look, this page I wrote this way, this page I wrote. So you have to prove it a little bit. Your small group leader is going to help us keep everything honest so that we don't have cheaters.
We have honest group leaders.
And here is the 100-point one. This one is way up here. This is why we're talking.
Kahuna.
This is a challenge. We're not making a wimpy thing here.
Big kahuna. Here we go.
75% of your group, at least 75% of your group, must memorize and share with your leader. So it isn't just, I memorized that. Share with your leader John 3:16 through 21.
Whoa!
Yeah, not just 16. No, we're not just bottom. We're just saying 16 through 21. It talks about light and darkness. It talks about some of these things we were talking about tonight. I think it will be a great group of verses for you to memorize. Put in, kind of like it says in the Bible, put in your heart, because I think you'll be able to use it. I think it'll really help you as you go through life. So those are the challenges. Your small group leader has those, but these are big. This takes effort. Like if you just think you're going to like wait till the last minute and try to do these things, you're not going to make it. And my group's going to win. So take your time. Just take it easy. Don't worry about it.
Coast.
We'll take the Top Golf Omaha trip, and
I have to chaperone.
You have to chaperone.
Yep.
Maybe.
Perfect.
All right.
Well, I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah,
man.
Quarantine Cup.
Quarantine
We're
Cup.
over. We're over 14 minutes.
Ooh, ouch. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, we are over. Turn the light on. Get jumping into small groups and get this Quarantine Cup going. See you next week.
Bye-bye.